Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and I start this video here. I'm not exactly sure where here is. I know I'm on the Channel Islands and I know I'm on the island of Jersey, but apart from that, I don't actually know exactly where I am. But today I'm going to be flying the FlyBe Q400 back from Jersey to my home in Southampton. Southampton is my home airport, so I left there at 6 in the morning. It's now currently 10:15 and my flight is at 2:15, and I walked about an hour away from the airport. So I should probably start walking back now, and hopefully I can still find where it is. So I'm gonna head back to Jersey airport now, and I'm gonna hop on my FlyBe Q400. I have actually reviewed the FlyBe Q400 once before on my channel, and that was my first ever trip report. And do not go back and watch that because that was a horrendous video. That was my first trip report. As I said, it was more like a takeoff and landing video, but if you want to find that, go find that and cringe at it. But hopefully this will be an updated version of a FlyBe Q400 review. So yeah, I'm gonna head back to Jersey airport now. Not long after that, I eventually found my way back to the airport. 1.6 million passengers fly through Jersey airport every year, but unlike other UK airports, for the islanders that live here, the airport is the only quick means of transport off the island, and 4 airlines have them covered. British Airways fly 4 times a day to London Gatwick, EasyJet fly multiple times a day to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Manchester, Liverpool and London Gatwick. FlyBe then fly to Birmingham, Bristol, Cardiff, East Midlands, Exeter, Manchester, London City and Southampton, and then finally JER-SOU fly seasonally to Leeds, Bradford. Jersey's current terminal was opened in 1997 and was seen as a major upgrade from their original terminal, which was built all the way back in 1937. After passing through security, you then enter the main waiting area, which includes a small cafe, a WH Smith's and a duty free. As I arrived fairly early for my flight, I decided to get something to eat, and so I had this ham and cheese baguette with a Coke. However, after a couple hours, my gate was finally called. To save time while boarding, your boarding pass is checked on arrival at the gate, and then you're made to wait in this small lounge as other passengers are still arriving. However, not long after that, we began boarding, and the aircraft used on today's flights would be this 11-year-old Bombardier Dash 8 Q400. Depending on their age, Q400s can be listed by other manufacturers. My Q400 today is listed as Bombardier because it was built between the years of 1992 and 2019. If it were built before 1992 or after 2019, it would then be listed as a de Havilland Dash 8 Q400. FlyBe are currently the largest operator of the Q400 in the world, with over 50 of the aircraft in service. But after boarding, I found my seat. My seat for today would include a tray table, a seat back pocket, and a decent amount of legroom. Also, it's worth noting the last time I flew a Q400, I took the picture that's now used as my profile picture. But not long after that, we began our pushback and taxi out to runway 26. Shortly after takeoff, the cabin crew started coming around the cabin with food and drinks. Personally, I didn't buy anything, as for this 30-minute flight, the magazine was enough entertainment for me. FlyBe serves 71 airports across the UK and Europe, and their fleet consists of 54-8 Q400s, 9 Embraer 175s, and just 1 Embraer 195. But sadly, this may all come to an end within the next year. If you haven't seen the news lately, FlyBe are in financial trouble and it's not looking too good. FlyBe started service in 1979 with the merger of Intra Airways and Express Air, and was first known as Jersey European Airways. To start with, they were based from Jersey and flew from Jersey to larger mainland destinations around the UK, similar to the flight we're taking today, but back then those flights would have been operated on DC-3s. Eventually, as the years passed, they rebranded into British European to de-associate itself with the Channel Islands and focus on other domestic routes around the UK. But then in 2002, they rebranded again for the final time to FlyBe. FlyBe then exploded in 2006 after purchasing British Airways Connect, and they quickly became the largest domestic airline in the UK and also the largest privately owned airline in Europe. But in 2018, things started to look bad for the airline, and in late 2018, they started to look for help. And on the 11th of January 2019, Virgin Atlantic came to the rescue by taking them over for at first $20 million, but the prices keep rising as more and more money is being sunk into the crippling airline. FlyBe would operate under the Virgin Atlantic brand, but they would still keep their own air operator certificate, meaning that they would still be private and for the most part independent. This would mean that FlyBe would continue to be the largest private airline in Europe, and this seemed like an amazing last-minute save from Virgin Atlantic. However, FlyBe still kept losing money, and more money than Virgin Atlantic were willing to lose. The British government then gave FlyBe £100 million to cancel all debts that the now crippling airline owes. But even now, things are still not looking too good for the airline, and this is where we're left today. As of now, FlyBe flights are still flying, and the airline is still due to be rebranded into Virgin Connect, with FlyBe's fleet taking on new liveries starting this year. But truth be told, the modern world isn't kind to airlines. In the past few years, the UK has lost some of their largest airlines, with Monarch and Thomas Cook both ceasing operations. And stocks show that FlyBe are next to hit the dust, but this is something I don't agree with. Now, what I'm about to say is opinionated, and I may very well be wrong, but I don't think that FlyBe will die, at least not yet. When you look back to Monarch and Thomas Cook, their losses haven't really meant a lot to the British public. This is because both Monarch and Thomas Cook were low-cost holiday airlines. Low-cost airlines that serve the same destinations as other low-cost airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet. FlyBe, on the other hand, although they're listed as a low-fares airline, serve airports that other traditional low-cost airlines don't serve, or if they do, not to the same extent as FlyBe. FlyBe specialise in domestic flights, an area that in the UK isn't utilised by other larger airlines. Take British Airways for example. British Airways have hubs at both London Heathrow and London Gatwick. FlyBe, on the other hand, either have a hub or a focus city base in Birmingham, Manchester, Exeter, Aberdeen, Belfast, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Inverness, the Isle of Man, Jersey, Southampton, Norwich and Newquay. I think you can see what I'm getting at, but if you wanted to fly from Edinburgh to Manchester, British Airways would take you on 2 flights through their Heathrow hub, from Edinburgh to Heathrow and then Heathrow to Manchester. FlyBe, on the other hand, would just take you directly from Edinburgh to Manchester. The British Airways hub strategy does work, but for longer routes, like if you wanted to fly from Edinburgh to Johannesburg, but the key is it doesn't work domestically. In countries like the United States, flying through hubs works because the truth is, the United States is huge, and trains or buses can't travel the distance in nearly the same time as a plane. But in the UK, where travelling distances are smaller, trains and even buses are everywhere, and in the time it takes you to fly from Edinburgh to London, and then from London to Manchester, you may as well have just taken the train. And this is where FlyBe shine. In fact, in 2015, they made a video displaying this with a race between a plane, a train and a car from Exeter to London, and of course the plane won. But now you're probably thinking, well, if the flights aren't full, then what's the point? And yes, in that sense, you're right. My flight from Southampton to Jersey was about half full, and considering I bought my ticket for £30 and there were about 30 passengers on board, that's only £900, and after paying the staff and paying for the operational costs of the aircraft, that's not a lot of profit for that flight. The truth is, FlyBe can't support themselves, but who's saying they need to? There is more to all of this drama than just FlyBe. Why did the government give nothing to Thomas Cook or Monarch when they were in this situation, but they gave FlyBe £100 million? It's because the UK needs an airline like FlyBe. FlyBe alone support almost 3,000 jobs, and indirectly they support thousands more. FlyBe link the UK's economy, business, and keep it together so that nowhere in the UK is more than an hour away. Again, this is only my prediction and I may be wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're looking back on this in 1, maybe 2, or even 3 years' time, and FlyBe are still here. And with that, I want to thank you very much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.